Like this.
Hey, I got a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
Remember when we was younger, and I want to try to not use the the but shit. That's the only way we can use it. Remember when we was younger, and you we'll go to the mall or something. I'm gonna use me and you example, but we'll go to the mall, and it might be two chicks. One may
Yep.
be fat, but you got the cool one, or I got the cool one, but one of us gonna have to take one for the team because
Take
it's a
one for the
two-way.
team. Take one
Right.
for the team.
Nobody really want to take one for the team, bro, because nobody really want the fat one or the ugly one, right?
Mm-hmm.
So my question to you is taking one for the team always a good thing? Is taking one for the team a good choice? Is that it? We folks, so because I know you trying to do your thing, I'm going I'm gonna ride it out, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to word it in a way because when I asked you this, when I was thinking of this question, I had it going in my mind a totally different way. Um, Taking one for the team. But the reason I'm thinking is I'm gonna come back to it because
No, I mean, well, it depends in the context of how you apply it. Taking one for the team, because if we talking about being in the mall and it's a super skinny chick that you ain't attracted to, because all skinny chicks ain't pretty either. So, I mean, everything is beautiful in the eyes of whoever, but I'm saying you could be any body type and not be attractive to an individual. Some people ain't attracted to skinny girls. Some people ain't attracted to whatever, tall, it don't matter. But I get what you're saying. If it's a girl that's not considered attractive because of whatever attributes, and there's a girl that's bad, and it's me and you, somebody go take one for the team. In that context, yes, it's okay to take one for the team because we play it. That's how we raise. That would be hating to not take one for the team. So in that context, yes, I'm gonna take one for the team for my partner. Now, if you're in a relationship, go ahead. You got it.
right,
Okay, go
right,
ahead.
because that's where I was finna go.
I know.
Because you take it as far as a team,
Yeah,
right,
because you're a
outside,
team
but
when you're in a relationship. So I know where you're going with it. We'll go ahead.
right, but when you in a relationship with somebody or you're building, you may not necessarily be happy in that particular setting, right? But you know that if you disappear, remove yourself from it, your removal may hurt
Mm-hmm.
the rest of the individuals around you.
Taking one for the team.
Right. So it's taking one for the team a good choice. And I say that in the context of for your peace of mind,
Mm-hmm.
for your sanity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Or are you going to do it and say, you know what, I'll suffer now. I'll suffer now because it's for the greater good. In the short term, it's benefiting them. In the long term, it's hurting you. So the question then becomes, do I really want to stay here and do this for the team, or or is it okay to say no and be selfish? Right? We spoke on selfish before, right? Is it okay to be selfish in that regard, or is taking one for the team? I'm gonna take this on the chin because if I don't do this, everything's going to fall apart. When LeBron James left the Cleveland Cavaliers, they didn't do nothing, right? They went boo boo, but then they bounced back. So it's taking one for the team in the short term, a good idea, even if it's in the short term, right? Is it a good idea to take one for the team, or is it better to say, hey, my resume I don't really like these attributes that's coming, and I don't want to deal with it. So is it
Got you.
better for me to take one for the team or better for me to exit stage left? You see what I'm saying? That's the
I
question.
absolutely. I wholeheartedly got you, and I see where you was going with it because a couple as a team, and within that, there's sacrifices that have to be made at times. And are some of those sacrifices worthy of one person giving up some of their happiness or their what they would feel is best for them for the greater good of others within the team.
Right.
And it's funny because I was talking to a member just 2 days ago, and jokingly they was like, men um got to know how to got to know how to take it on the chin. And you just said take it on the chin, like
Right.
like if the lady is like, let her, how they say the old saying, let your spouse always be correct. The men let the women always be correct, so that
Happy wife, happy life.
yeah, well that, but just like it ain't worth arguing over small things. Let her have that. Just take that one on the chin. And women appreciate when a man is man enough to just take little things on the chin and not get into a back and forth debate, even if she knows she wrong. Why y'all laughing, ladies? Even if she might know she wrong, but let her just take that one on the chin. It ain't no big deal. We ain't, So taking it on the chin is something that's in some aspects, certain people believe you should take it on the chin because it's not a big deal and it's what's best for the relationship. You know what I mean? There's certain things that people would say, like, if you're a real man, you should be able to take this small thing on the chin. It ain't nothing. You shouldn't cause a big fight or argument over these things. They would say, take it on the chin. But I would say this, it depends on what's at risk. It depends on who's on the team, meaning in its totality. Are we talking about just two people? Are we talking about two people with children? And also, what means most to that individual who's making those decisions? Because a person that's able to take it on the chin, that means that they're saying that they're strong enough to handle and weather certain storms for the greater good of what they feel will benefit those who they care about most. So in that way, they're being selfless. They are sacrificing some of their happiness temporarily, or they may be sacrificing some of their emotions, like anger or sadness. Because when a woman says a man should take it on the chin, that's over a small debate or argument, what they're saying is don't get over emotional about this because you're man enough to just walk away and let her have it, right? So if a person says, in a bigger picture says, hey, I'm gonna take this on the chin for the greater good of my family. For instance, we were talking about how men nowadays are more involved in the family. A man, a father that wants to be involved in a family because he didn't have a father growing up, might take some things on the chin, or might take one for the team, but not necessarily for his partner, for the children. So when you ask and pose this question, it depends on if you're talking about just two adults or two adults with children, because that could change how someone's views taking one for the team, because the team could be a lot more than just two people.
Just in general, though, I mean, I like the way you answered it. I'm going to say that. I like the way you answered it. But that question is the way you answered it for there, it was good. And the way you answered it for the other part is good. But the answer goes for everybody. The basis is make sure you're happy. Make sure you're comfortable in whatever decision you choose. Because taking one for the team sometimes is the right answer. And sometimes saying, no, I'm cool, it's the right answer. So just make sure you're comfortable in whatever answer you're going to give, because you have to live with it. But for me,
you moving on to being selfish. I hear you. Respectfully selfish.
Listen, you got to be got to do it. But at the same time, you never know, because any situation can arise, and sometimes you got to take one for the team.
And I would say taking one for the team is, so in my book, Train the Brain and the Body Will Follow, in my book, I talk about logic versus emotion. And I would say taking one for the team is a perfect example of that war of logic versus emotion. If you're going to take one for the team or not, you would have to go into a logical mind state. That's not something that you should make a decision with being overly emotional. And you can track the time between logic versus emotion. So if you're going to make that decision of taking one for the team, whether it's just two people or it's a family of 3 or 4 or 5, you should make sure, and you owe it to yourself, whichever way you choose to go, you owe it to yourself to make that decision in a logical mind state.